Hello and a very warm welcome to the Insider Essay, your guide to living better. Join us today as we celebrate winter trends. Build your summer body in winter with personal trainer Vuyani Mashego. Visit a private game reserve in KZN with musician Tipsy. Taste Asian noodles inspired by street food with chef Damian Dafel. See architect and ceramicist Juliet Eidelman's beautiful creations. Travel to the KZN Midlands with actress and businesswoman Enhle Mbali. And learn about the art of working with felt with award-winning textile designer Ronel Jordaan. 29-year-old eligible bachelor Vuyani Mashego is a South African weightlifter, fitness enthusiast and personal trainer. Proud Capitec client Vuyani ensures he remains in great shape, physically and financially through all seasons, and loves motivating others to do the same.
With fitness, I took it professionally because I had a big, and I still do have a big love for basketball. I was a super skinny, long, lollipop, big head shaped type of guy. Had a Nigerian coach who told me I needed to hit the gym. And basically my journey started from there at about 16 years old and made it into a profession. I specialize in functional training. I am an SA weightlifter, so weightlifting is my actual discipline, strength, snatching and cleaning and jerking. Love kettlebells and anything that has to do with getting the body to move functionally. I think the biggest thing for me to stay fit and what motivates myself to continue in this industry is the relationships that I build with people and the relationships that I see people building with each other. A lot of times people don't realize how they live life without being active, but it's not necessarily about being active, it's about being able to connect and doing something that helps them almost reinvent themselves. So I love that. It's important to keep active over the winter because it'll take you at least 3 months to see any sort of substantial changes in the body if you're looking to get that summer body, that whole phrase, summer bodies are made in winter. And then it is a hard time to train too. So I would say the first thing you need to do to kind of keep active throughout the period is to get an accountability partner or a trainer. That way you've got somebody that's going to keep you honest and make sure that you kind of get to the gym or work out every single day. All you need to do is at least 30 minutes. And don't forget, resting is also just as important as working out. So that's when the body actually starts to improve.
Originally from Benoni, the former gym owner moved down south to enjoy a different pace of life and to set new challenges for growth within the fitness industry.
Since moving to Cape Town, one of my favorite things to do is to come down to the promenade and get a workout in. What better way to work out than with the sea on my left, mountain on the right, and a beautiful winter's day. So you guys, a quick workout that you can do when you got 30 minutes, half an hour, maybe with one kettlebell or no equipment. The thing I love about a kettlebell is that it's super small, compact, and it's pretty easy to carry, right? Super user-friendly, it's super functional, right? So getting straight into the workout of the day, I'd normally get a stopwatch and I'd time maybe 40 seconds of alternating single arm swings. Activates the glutes, the midline, and the hammies. It's a full body motion. Tip with the swing is when you get in your backswing, you want to try and keep it as high as possible. So in other words, try hit your butt and follow through with the hips. All about generating momentum. You'll see at the highest point of my swing, I switch arms. Back to the swing, switch arms. So from here, we're gonna go straight into one of my favorite movements, which is a kettlebell push press, all right? So this is targeting the upper body, but as well as your core because you need your legs to dip and drive. So a couple of things to look out for. I want this guy over my forearm and my bicep, and to start this movement, I need to dip my legs, follow through with the drive, lock out at the top, bring it back down, dip, drive, lock out. So if I'm doing this for 40 seconds, I'd go one arm for 20 seconds, proceed to switch sides, same thing, rack it up, opposite arm across, use the legs, dip and drive. So this works not only my shoulders, but a bit of my core and my legs. That is your kettlebell push press. Flip this guy upside down, gotta get a bit of legs in because we don't just train our upper body, into your goblet squat. So holding the kettlebell at your chest, pointing upside, I'm gonna perform a full squat. Now, what constitutes a good squat is getting my knees out and my hip crease below my knees. I'd proceed to do this for 40 seconds. From the goblet squat, lovely core movement, also works your obliques. We call this one the kettlebell halo. In an ovular motion, pretend as if I'm chucking on a trench coat, bring it around into the center, works my obliques, also gets a lovely stretch of the pecs. Back to the center, rotate, obliques, around. Cool. Now with all those movements that I showed you, you're gonna do 40 seconds of work and 20 seconds of rest, which would constitute one good round. Now the thinking is to do about 4 to 5 rounds, which would total about 20 minutes. Now what I loved about these movements is we've hit everything from the upper body to the core to the lower body, which is basically what you need for a beautiful city such as this, right? 30 minutes is all you need, a little kettlebell, all your body weight, enjoy the raise, work out hard, and have some fun.
Having fun includes eating foods you enjoy without feeling guilty about it.
There's a misconception that personal trainers or people that are exercise professionals have to eat bunny or rabbit food all the time. And very much like you, I enjoy a burger. I'm of the philosophy that so long as the work that you're doing outweighs whatever you're putting in, you genuinely can eat whatever you want to eat. But with that being said, we did say summer bodies are made in winter, so have that one night or those 2 nights where you're having burgers and beers, but just make sure, all in all, that you're still getting the work in, you're still eating moderately all right, and then you can enjoy that weekend, that Saturday and Sunday, with the family, watching a bit of rugby or football, and just having a good time. What I love about Capitec is that it's super user-friendly. I got this app over here in which I can actually track my spending habits, how often I go to restaurants, how often I spend on takeouts, how much I use on public transportation, and basically I can know where my money goes.
Through the Track Money feature, you can see how you spend and track your totals. Add your own categories and compare what you spend on them from month to month.
Tracking my money is my favorite feature. Why? Because over the winter months, I now know how much I can budget towards my health and fitness. With that being said, summer bodies are made in winter. And don't forget that your fitness journey is a long one. So most importantly, have fun doing it.
To start your own health and fitness journey, you stand a chance of winning an online or outdoor personal training session with Vuyani. To enter, simply reply to the competition post on the insidersa.co.za social media platforms using hashtag #CapitecLiveBetter. T's and C's apply and can be found on the Insider SA website. Coming up, see how mFulaWozi Private Game Reserve is preserving heritage with celebrity guest Tipsy. mFulaWozi is more than just a private game reserve. This special project is a space where both conservation as well as Zulu history is being preserved on 16,000 hectares of African bushveld. It's here we are joined by pom artist Tipsy and her friends Mambaliza and Nolutandu.
There's a wonderful community out here that were looking to save their land and also benefit from the land, and we came to a mutual agreement this was the best site. The community here have worked with us, they built this lodge with us, and they are now involved in running this lodge, so for us that was extremely important.
We ended up with this site in agreement with Nkosi Mthembu, which had a lot of history. And that history included Shaka Zulu and their days, as well as where Ian Player and Makuba Tombela had their camping site. So we wanted to have a bit of history as part of the project.
Architecture was done specifically to keep the roundness of the circle of life, which is unobtrusive in that you don't see it from anywhere. The colors are very natural. The design is simple but elegant. It's all about nature and blending in.
Tipsy, whose real name is Tobeka Ndaba, is an artist who first rose to prominence after releasing her hit Isicathulo in 2017. She is widely known for her catchy songs and energetic live performances.
Oh, wow. This is heaven, bro. Yo! Tipsy! Yo, guys, talk about comfort. Talk about comfort. Oh, gosh. Whew. Come, guys. Come have a look. Check the view. Hello! Wow. Come, guys, come along. A lot of People always ask me, what is this that I love about music? And I always tell them, it's where I relax, it's where I express my feelings. And ever since I was young, I've always loved music. I've always wanted to be famous. I've always been a songwriter. So it's something that's in me, which is running through my veins. I do home music. You know, I'm a Zulu girl, and I'm a Zulu, actually, energy. So, which is why I choose a igom, and I turn the temper corner. So, yasabenza nami, ngiyithanda, and temper yakhona ihambisana ngendlela engiflowa ngayo.
Nkosi Mtebu is a traditional leader in the area. Elected chairperson of the lodge, he understands the importance of the initiative and cares deeply about the preservation of Zulu culture.
We are here at Sangoyane, but next to Umthombo Kangomane. This is where Shaka used to make the spears in the air with Ngomane, because Ngomane was the Ndunankulu of King Shaka. He used to sit in here and make the spears. After that, they can drink the water there. That's why we call it here is Umthombo Kangomane. This water is coming from down. You have to call it if you want it. You said, no, please, I want water and Ngomane, and then the water will just pour down. It is important to know your roots, because wherever you go, you represent your culture. That's why it's so important to keep your culture. Like me, I'm a traditional leader. I'm a make sure that everything that were happening before is still going on, so that the youngsters, they should know where they belong.
The surrounding communities benefit in various ways from the lodge, including job creation as well as the purchasing of their produce.
At mFulaWozi, you can expect to see healthy populations of all the big five, cheetah and wild dog, and over 330 species of birds. When we approach a few zebras in the plains, it's just to get a bit of a better sighting, and it is a completely different experience when you get up close. They aren't aggressive and they're not dangerous, so it's actually quite pleasant to just observe them from on foot.
The game drive was fun, like I'm enjoying every moment. The most interesting part was walking towards the zebras. It was my first time. And also crossing the river, with my girl. Woo! Yeah!
Heading to the kitchen, it was time for Tipsy to show off her skills making traditional dumplings.
Hi guys, my name is Damian Dafel. I am the executive chef of Mutembu. Today I'm hosting Tipsy. We are going to be making jeke with her, as she is a local girl. So one of the traditional dishes that we produce here at Mutembu, and then we'll be escorting that with a bit of beef.
Hey, what up?
Hola, Tipsy.
You good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, all dressed up and all well ready to get my hands dirty.
Let's go for it.
Let's go.
So you can go with your yeast.
Okay.
And then let's go for the salt.
Salt. Butter, guys. Butter.
Butter is life.
You all love butter.
And then you go for the olive
The
oil.
My favorite food is pasta. I love pasta. And lamb shank. And also my favorite traditional food is uche, or dumplings. We call it idombolo with inyama and oko. Like I have that every week. Hey guys, but it's over, yes? And yes, one thing about the tips, I'm actually a wife material. Like really, like I can cook. Like
Okay.
everything.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah,
That's quite interesting.
Funumendo, we say it in Zulu, stingumendo. What's next, Chief?
So with the rest of like your butter or oil left over, you just rub your hands with it, and then you just put on the side, and then we're gonna let it prove.
And make it shaped like a ball shape. Like this, you know? For it to sit.
Okay, I think Tipsy, we are done. We're gonna let it prove for 30 minutes, and then straight from there, it's going into the steaming.
Okay.
Happy with that?
I'm happy.
Along with the bread, the meal included beef with salt and pepper crust, caramelized onions with chili for a rich sweetness, bacon and leek ragu, and carrot puree as the star base.
And
Voila!
that's the jeke, and I would like for you to cut the jeke in the middle and then see if everything is being...
Ooh, so nice and soft. Can I taste it?
Please.
Let me just taste. Mmm. High five.
There we go. So with the jeke, because it's a very delicate bread, we're gonna take this and modernize it. So the same modern way that you guys are making us dance, so we're making the same way with food. So we are modernizing everything, but then still keeping the traditional ways and the flavors.
Okay.
And everything goes into that.
Okay, Chief, you know what? I'm gonna do this my way. Just let me shine now. It's my time to shine.
Okay.
I'm gonna dish up my way, the Tipsy way. It's called the Tipsy way, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
No problem. Chef, approved. Amazing. Amazing.
I told you I'm a cook.
In addition to winning over the public, friends such as Mambaliza also agree that Tipsy has a star quality.
Tipsy is a very vibrant person. She's loud. She makes performance very fun. She adds that spice. So the vibe, the vibrant, she's loud, she's bold. I think that's important to be team man, your performer, and your work experience in a band.
She's very humble, loving, caring. When she loves you hard. If you are next to her as a friend, she gives you all the love, all the attention, and she's never changed. Being with Tipsy has never changed her.
What's next for Tipsy, guys? I've just released a single called Itegu, Lashitegu. We will kamele mphakathi, we will kamele kamnandi. Just be ready to dance, be ready for more music. I'm in studio now, cooking for Ingoma December. And also, I'll be opening a restaurant soon. So yeah, that's it.
If, like charismatic entertainer Tipsy, you would like to experience the thrill of KZN's distinctive mFulaWozi Wilderness Private Game Reserve and its unique combination of Zulu history and culture, log on to the Insider SA website for details. Next on the Insider Essay, see how Chef Damian Dafel prepares his Asian-styled noodles and be inspired by the ceramics of Juliet Eidelman. After traveling and working around the world, Chef Damian Dafel was determined to bring what he'd learned back to South African plates. His latest project was inspired by the tastes and cultures of Asian street food.
Before COVID came around knocking on our door, I took a little trip to China to visit my brother, and we fell in love with venturing around the streets of every little village possible to kind of indulge in every bit of food they had. And that's where I started to learn the weird and wonderful things that Chinese cuisine has to offer, not just your Americanized or westernized product, but there was a deeper meaning within their cuisine, which I started to identify traveling and walking around markets eating.
The careful building of a flavor profile creates rich and hearty textures to the food that are a great comfort during colder winter times.
Chinese street food has this ability to be very complex, yet it's made to look so simple. So flavors are built within flavors. So it's a layered way of cooking. Everything is layered and everything has a meaning, whether it's the Sichuan region, the Mapu regions, the Dan regions, to everything possible. It's layering of the cuisine that I enjoy the most. Here at Dahlia, I'm basically celebrating the flavors and the experience that I had traveling through China and trying my best to pay homage to such an amazing food culture.
With the melting pot of cultures and communities that call South Africa home, we are blessed to have access to ingredients and products from many different parts of the world.
This is my absolute favorite thing to have. It's a Sichuan Chinese chili crisp oil. Basically what it is it's a whole lot of chilies, Sichuan flavors, peanuts that gets fried up, put into a bottle, and we use this for basically our bases of our noodles. What I love about the Asian cuisine, just like if you're looking into the Italian cuisine, every pasta has a different dish that it goes with. Every kind of, you have macaronis, you have penes, you have tortellinis, but with the Chinese culture, it is exactly the same. Every flavor, every region has a noodle to connect itself with. One of my favorite things about coming to an Asian supermarket is in fact actually all the weird and wonderful veg they have. Size of the beans, really. So you'll find everything you need here. A bit intimidating, but really delicious and super handy to have at home and try new flavors with. Bamboo shoots, super great for any fresh Chinese salad, super sweet. It's firm, but yet it's quite succulent as well. And it grows great with spice, vinegars, anything that you need to cut some spiciness down with. The bamboo shoots is amazing.
With ingredients in hand, we head back to the kitchen to see how the dishes are prepared.
Today we're making our biang biang noodles, quite a classic in the Chinese street food scene. So today I'm going to show you how to stretch the noodle called biang biang. The reason it's called this is because it's owing to the sound it makes on the tabletop and the way you stretch the noodle to get its length and thickness. So traditionally we take the noodle, once we've banged the noodle and stretched it out, traditionally the noodle is then taken and ripped apart by hand, which owes to its thickness, just like that as a portion. Going through China, watching the old men rip these noodles was quite impressive because it brings that sense of skill to the noodle itself. People would line up for these hand-pulled noodles, so did I. And that's why we try and keep traditionally and try and hand-pull them to the best of our abilities. These noodles are actually pretty simple to make at home, pretty easy, 3-ingredient kind of thing. Water, flour, salt. You put it all together in a bowl, you mix it for about 35 minutes. Once you've got this perfect looking smooth dough ball, you rest it for 12 hours and then you've got noodles. So first of all, we're going to start off with my favorite chili crisp oil. That goes straight into the bowl. After that, we're going to finish it off with a little bit of sesame, some spring onion, some black vinegar, some soy sauce. That's going to get a little bit of spice that's going to come off our tagaroshi and a little bit of our Sichuan chili oil that you can also purchase at your Asian supermarket, red or green. So now the noodles are in the bowl, out of the pot, straight into the bowl. You've got very quick to go. We take a little bit of garlic and grated ginger straight on top. And what we do next is we take hot oil and we burn it straight over the top, releasing all that beautiful flavor, seasoning our noodles with the garlic and ginger, and owing to traditional meaning of burning the noodles straight with hot oil.
The combination of spices and ginger are great for our bodies during colder times.
So I'm going to top these amazing silken noodles off with a little bit of our braised beef. Once our beef has hit our silken noodles, I'm going to top it off with some of those fresh goodies. And we're going to start off with this incredibly fresh Napa cabbage that I have just blanched in water. We've seasoned it with a little bit of tagaroshi, some soy sauce, black vinegar, and sesame. And those are going to lay straight over the top to give that beef real freshness to it. Once you've got the beef and the veg down, we're going to finish it off with this amazing kind of earthy bamboo shoots that we picked up as well earlier this morning, some sesame seeds, a little bit of our fresh spring onions, and these barbecue tomatoes that we've hit on the brow that we've then basted in a little bit of a chicken relish, and that goes straight on top of the beef, and it's finished off with some fresh coriander. And that's it, my rendition of our beef biang biang served with fresh Asian greens. Could be eaten every day, to be honest.
Juliet Eidelman started ceramics as a hobby while still in high school. This established architect kept her second passion alive, and in 2015 she opened her own studio in Woodstock, Cape Town, creating beautiful pieces.
I love clay, I love working with my hands, and there's a sculptural element to it which I really enjoy. And I think part of architecture, it's similar with having structures and working out how things get made, and I enjoy the shapes and forms and the feeling of clay and the texture of clay. I do a lot of decor pieces and I do a lot of bespoke pieces, so I don't do the same thing over and over again. And I enjoy simple colors, simple forms. I don't do very intricate designs. So you'll see a lot of my work is raw clay. I don't do a lot of glazing or painting. So I really enjoy expressing the clay itself, the texture of the clay, the color of the clay, and very simple forms. I often experiment with different shapes, so I don't necessarily know exactly what I'm going to end up with before I start. I've got a basic idea, and I'll start and it'll actually end up looking slightly different. Alternatively, if I'm given a design that people want to create, then I will actually draw it up to scale and then work off a drawing. I use a combination of making slabs and making coils. So this has been made, the base of this bowl was made with a slab, and then I'm now coiling onto it to give it a unique shape at the top. And this is hand building, so I prefer using this technique to throwing on the wheel. You've got a bit more control on your shape, and each one then does come out differently whether or not you want it to or not. And this is going to be a planter. And I will texture it before I put it in the kiln, and then probably add a little bit of white glaze into it to just bring the texture out.
Making her pieces by hand, she has a love for the beauty that comes from the uniqueness of each design, focusing on texture, simplicity, and raw, unglazed clay in her work.
Opening the kiln is a surprise every time. Like when you put something in the kiln, you never know how it's going to come out. And it also shrinks in the kiln, so you have to oversize everything when you're making it. And with colors, often the glaze color looks nothing like the finished product when it's finished being firing. So yeah, most potters always get a surprise every time they open the kiln. I really enjoy working with my hands, and that's something very different between architecture and ceramics. In architecture, your design process is very much one thing, and then the construction is something else that gets done by someone else. Whereas ceramics is something which you yourself can actually have the vision, have the design, and then create it yourself with your own hands. And I really enjoy being part of the entire process.
Juliet has become known for a variety of pieces, including everything from bespoke decor to functional wear, light fittings, and planters.
This is one of my favorite nurseries for succulents and indigenous plants, and I started chatting with the owners and then explained that I made planters. And that's how this relationship grew. So I now supply them with planters, and here's a nice collection of all these indigenous succulents in an assortment of pots. I love spending time in nurseries, especially with all these indigenous plants. And this time of the year is beautiful because they're all flowering now. So winter is when all these succulents start flowering. They're obviously indigenous to this part of the world. They grow really well. I find them really interesting, and I think also the structure and the shape, they're quite architectural plants, if that makes sense. So I really, really enjoy them, and I love the very clean lines. They're green, they're not too fussy, and they really, really grow so well in this environment. I can't go home empty-handed, so I think I'm going to have to take this guy with me and find a beautiful pot to put him in.
Living a coastal life on the mountainside allows Juliet to stay deeply connected to nature.
I've always loved plants and having plants in my home and having plants in my garden, and that's why I started making planters. And what I love about how I make them is I use the raw clay, they're unglazed. I try to pick up the textures and the colors of nature, so you can see how it fits into the color scheme of the stones and the mountain. I always leave the marks on the pots of where I've joined the clay and where I've made them. Like, I don't try and smooth that away. That makes each one really individual and unique. And I like to see how things have been made. So this is just a cream clay that I use, and then this is a black clay. I love the black clay with some texture in it, which I accentuate with a little bit of white. And you can see that I've done in quite a few of the different planters, this one as well. And I really like how that just accentuates the green of the plants. And it's not shiny, it's got a matte texture, and that for me kind of goes with the natural environment.
The diversity of working with clay allows Juliet to enjoy her works, from her plants to her plates.
So winter's really nice for cooking, which I love doing, and having friends over, and homemade soup, and sitting in front of the fireplace, and all those nice warm things. I'd like to keep it small. I enjoy making the pieces. I don't want to end up in a situation where I'm directing other people to make. That's exactly why I've gotten into this, is because I actually enjoy the process. So yeah, I would like to keep it as small as possible and hopefully be as involved in the process of making the ceramics as possible, because that's what I love to do.
As the old adage goes, love what you do and you'll never work a day in your life. Whether it's architecture or ceramics, Juliet Eidelman uses her creativity to create beauty in the world. Coming up, see how an historic building was renovated into a beautiful hotel with Enhle Mbali. Our next adventure takes us to a recently renovated hotel in the picturesque KwaZulu-Natal Midlands with Enhle Mbali and her friend Tlogi Ngwato. The space is a cozy retreat, ideal for the winter months.
Hey Mel, this is beautiful. And there's a fireplace. Perfect for winter, right? I love the finishings, I love the furniture. And the bedroom! I love it. What I absolutely need when I'm away from home is firstly silence. I am a mother, so it gets quite rowdy. But I have a very comfortable home. I have a home that I built from scratch, so everything that I want and need is in the home. When I do get away, I want to feel the opulence.
Enhle Mbali is an actress, TV presenter and fashion designer. She is also the owner of her own maternity line with stores in both South Africa as well as New York.
So where I am in my life right now is a very beautiful space. I am spiritually awakened. I am physically aware. I am emotionally aware. It's a really beautiful space to be. I've found happiness, and I found it in me.
Behind me, I've got one of Hartford's very special gems. This is the Hartford Chapel. It's got a very, very special story to it. The first owners that built this place was the Moore family, and they built it as a dairy. And inside, you can still see the cow rings. Later on, Cheryl Goss, the previous owner, changed it into a chapel. She did the stained glass herself, and it seats 60 people. We have had many, many wonderful celebrations in this little chapel.
The new owner, Henning Pretorius, had a clear vision in mind for the hotel. It was also important to him that he had the perfect place for his beloved horses.
My journey started with a need to find a farm in the Midlands to keep my horses. I had been looking for 4 years for a farm because they come from Northwest, where we have a problem with horse sickness. So I had to move my horses somewhere safe, and that's what brought me to the Midlands.
Being deeply passionate about his horses, Henning was excited about showing them to Enhle.
So Enhle, yeah, we're standing here in one of the paddocks on the farm. These are called European warmbloods, and there's a very thorough database of their breeding and especially their dam lines, and their sires are also selected.
They're quite big.
Yeah, they get quite big, but their sires are selected according to an index.
They are beautiful horses. They are gorgeous.
They
are happy horses.
Thank you.
After finding a new home for the horses, Henning turned his attention to the boutique hotel, and the process of renovations began.
There's been a lot of challenges when we took over. I had to make a decision whether I keep the hotel or not. And the decision was to revamp it.
A
year ago, Henung phoned and he asked if we would be interested in helping him with the Hartford House Hotel. And we came, and I must say it was quite a challenge. Just everything that we had to do, all the walls were brown and yellow, and the furniture was quite dated and old. All he wanted us is just to give it a nice lift and bring the old and new together, and it was quite a journey.
We wanted to preserve this beautiful old boutique hotel to its former glory. She was quite run down and tired looking. We didn't want to make her modern. We wanted to keep the old and the traditional and the colonial feel to it as well.
The hotel has 13 rooms. The room where we currently are in used to be offices that was converted into bedrooms, and in this room we decided to use this beautiful soft wallpaper and bring in the pinks just to make it soft and cozy, where the clients can actually come in and just relax and enjoy this beautiful space.
We've used beautiful signature wallpapers that complements the colors of the rooms, the colors that we've used, the pastel colors, to give it that cozy, luxurious feel.
It's critical to understand how to work with an old home when doing architectural changes. The team at Wyatt and Baker Architects were brought in for the job.
So we had the privilege of renovating Hartford House. The brief was rather open-ended, and we looked at the historical building and how it was working currently, and decided to improve the flow of the hotel as well as modernize the amenities, while still keeping in mind, obviously, the historical value of the building within the Textile Midlands.
One of the important factors that we looked at when we changed the hotel in modernizing it was to actually omit one of the bedrooms in the space that we're currently standing, and we created some more public realms. We changed the space quite a lot and maintained that beauty and character of the space, but modernizing it, as Derry said, to a state that would still keep the guests coming, and modernizing it as such.
At the heart of any home is the cook, and at Hartford House, things are no different. Recently appointed executive chef Paul Antolik is proud to be the latest addition to a long tradition of culinary legends.
Currently, we are very focused on local produce that we can find in the area, supporting local suppliers and trying to showcase their produce to our guests. So for today, I've chosen many of our guests' favorite dish at the moment. It's a wonderful winter vegetarian dish with lots of KZN curry flavors, and that is our tandoori cauliflower that we're going to be doing with Enhle.
So what do you have here?
Okay, so over here we have our tandoori cauliflower, which we went through the marinade and we've roasted now.
Yes.
That's going to go with a curried date and coconut cream.
Smells delicious.
So those are the main elements from here, and then we go on to sort of our garnishes that kind of add to the flavor of the dish.
I'm a foodie. I like experimenting with food, so I'm happy to see some experimentation today.
Cool, so first we're going to put out curried date sauce, then we're going to put our cauliflower on top of that, then start with our garnishes, starting with our toasted almonds, a sprinkle of our paprika oil, some fresh red onion, a few of our deep fried curry leaves, not too many because they're quite strong, and then just 2 little pieces of our papadum, a little spoon or 2 of our mint yogurt foam, and then some micro coriander garnish.
We started off with the sauce. Okay, then we had the cauliflower and we used this thingamajig, right? And we're laying them down gently. And then we're going for the toasted almonds, right? We drizzle them gently. Now we got the curry leaves. See how I put that out the border? Because it can't look too perfect. Now we got the papadums. Oh, the oil, paprika oil. Chef, thank you. And we're gonna drizzle that. I love the dotties. Okay, now we got the foam. I don't know how to place the foam, Chef.
Just like that. See how
You
it
did it
falls
so
off the
well.
spoon.
I'm gonna break up some more papadum because I want the perfect one. And Bob's your uncle. Okay, perfect, Chef, and this is my last one, okay? I hope I didn't make a mess of you all.
That is looking perfect.
Right?
Amazing.
As day turned to night, it was time for Enhle to enjoy a warm and inviting 6-course meal with her friend and publicist, Tlogi Ngwato.
We really try to take getaways once every quarter just to regroup and run away from the hustle and bustle of life. I think it's really important because there's so much that happens from on a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday type of week. And I think it's really important to be grounded and to find oneself away from the city that you live in and just away from responsibility. So these are really important to us. I think everybody should take time.
I try and take a holiday as much as I can. I'm a mother, I'm a career woman, I'm a fashionista, fashion designer, and I wear a lot of hats. So I always try and just woosah. But with COVID, it's been pretty hard, so this is the first time. Second time. Second time, yeah.
I enjoyed this experience. It was very holistic for me, and it's definitely something I would do again. So I would definitely come back to Hartford House in a heartbeat.
As someone who has been in the spotlight for some time, Enhle has amassed a large following, many of whom are inspired by the star.
I would say to the people or the younger generation that does look up to me, to take those parts of me that are great and build on them. So take all the best parts of all the people you love and turn them into something great.
We wish Enhle Mbali the very best as she continues to grow from strength to strength as an entertainer, mother and businesswoman. Next on the Insider Essay, see how textile designer Ronel Jordaan expertly creates her pieces using felt.
Simplify banking. Live better with Capitec.
By 2003, Ronel Jordaan already had 23 years of experience in textile design. It was then that she became interested in the possibilities of using felt as a creative medium. Since then, she has gone on to be a true master of her craft, making pieces ideal for keeping warm during winter.
My name's Ronel Jordaan. I'm a textile designer and a product developer, and I just love working in felt and creating beautiful products. I've always been creative. As a child, I used to do things with my hand, drawing. So I've always had a yearning to do art. And I studied drama after school and got stage fright. Then started playing around with textiles. For me, when I create with wool, I think of shapes first. And once I've visualized that shape, I then start thinking, what can I apply it to? What can I do with that shape? Can it become a couch? Can it become a scarf? So for me, it's first form and then application afterwards.
Ronel's journey into felt has been entirely self-taught, following her own creative instincts of turning fine gossamer thread into robust felted forms.
The process of felt making is taking sheep's wool, cleaning it. Then the process that we use is called wet felting. So what you do is you take the fibers, lay them in a warp and a weft, hot soapy water and friction. And it's basically rubbing and fusing the fibers till it becomes like a mesh and tightly matted into one another. You mesh the fibers and it becomes a very strong fabric. And with that fabric, we can create many different variations of products. It's infinite what you actually can do with it. Once the sheep is sheared, this is what the wool looks like. So you have the dirt on the inside, and this is closer to the skin. It then goes to carbonators who actually take out all the dirt It then goes through a second phase where they actually take those fibers and they comb it. And you get this beautiful long fibers that are excellent for felting. So we buy the wool from the mills like this in slither form. We then dye it and then we comb it again. We card it again to get beautiful soft bats that we use in our process. And then this is shaped and folded and played with, and then we end up with a little product.
The product is proudly South African and all their pieces are handmade from 100% merino wool.
The wonderful thing for me about felt is that you can mold it and that it has a memory. So once you've created a shape, it will keep that shape. So I can wash it and then reshape it, and it will always go back to the shape that I created. No other fiber can do that. So it just makes the products that you can make very wide that I would not necessarily be able to do with other fabrics.
Ronel has trained a handful of women to help her in the process, including floor manager Cecilia Nyoka, who is an artist in her own right.
What I love is everything about felting. When we do our products, like you have to learn more. You don't ask like for decoration, it has to come from me. I have to see how I can make it look good so it doesn't have a specific decoration, just everything just comes from you.
The uniqueness of Ronel's company's designs has seen her craft out an established market. By taking a look at work she has done for a client, the diversity of her creativity speaks for itself.
So this space is a loft. The owner asked me to please design a few products specifically for this space. The color palette was inspired by the South African bush felt, which is all ochres and greens and rusts. So I decided to use the rust for the poof and greys and just have it all flow together. For the bedroom, we stayed with the tribal theme. The process of making this throw is quite unique. We lay the wool in a warp and a weft, and then the yarn is actually laid on top, and in a very slow movement, we actually mat the yarn into the bed of wool. So it takes a lot of concentration and effort.
Her work is inspired by nature, and she is deeply committed to being eco-conscious, with pieces for both inside as well as outside the home.
Our rock puffs and cushions are ideal for outside because you can leave them outside. They can stay in the rain. They have a special treatment on. The idea of the rocks is to echo nature in your living space. So there's a contradiction. You think it's going to be hard, but then it's soft. You think it's going to be cold, but then it's warm. We just love it as a product for your outdoors. So in creating, all my products have to do with all the senses. When we wrap our product, we put lavender in so that when you unfold it, when you open it, you have this beautiful aroma, and then it goes into the touch. So it just awakens you. You really feel it. It becomes almost emotional in a way. With all the products that I create, I want people to be surprised. I want people to interact, to touch. It has to evoke something. People must want to interact. I just love that.
Patience, passion, and persistence have set Ronel Jordaan apart in her field, expertly creating her proudly local product. For more information on the guests featured in today's show, head over to theinsidersa.co.za. Join us again next week as we celebrate award-winning South Africans.
Another feel-good production.